Hey, Kimbroma, Wayne Levy here. How are you, my friend?
I'm excellent. Everything is unbelievable.
You've got that from a Lego movie. Come on, share with us a
No,
little bit of what all that's about.
well, that was just spending. Actually, the it's everything is wonderful. Everything is unbelievable. What is the words? Everything is um, similar.
I love it when you spend time with the grandkids because they certainly make you feel younger than what we already are. It's great that they've got that excitement in their face. And Kim, I think we can learn from kids because one of the things that kids do that we kind of like don't do as we're young, really young, but when we get older, we tend to criticize a lot more, and we tend to complain a lot more. And I think comparison kicks in the older we get. The three C's that kind of are like in business, and I know you've been in business, a long time. And for me, when you criticize and you complain and you compare, for me, it's like a slow leak in your tire in business. It's just kind of like it just flattens who you are, flattens everything around you because you're not focused. What do you think?
Well, actually, if you're starting to do that, it means you're not doing anything and you're doing too much thinking. Because if you get into activity and start putting things in place and doing things, guess what? You don't have time to be thinking about those things.
Yeah.
You're on the go. You're excited. And things are happening.
Yeah. Well, let's start with the very first thing. Let's try and drill into this and see if we can help a few people out there. Let's start with comparison. I mean, comparison, you stop appreciating your own strengths. You start worrying about what everyone else is doing. It takes you off focus. You start doubting, what you're doing, and you always think the grass is greener. So that comparison one is a real bad C, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a real killer. And the truth is that if you really looked into the people that you're really looking at and comparing yourselves with, um, in every other part of their life, it's probably completely broken. And if you look at exactly what you're comparing yourself with them, and if you really go down deep in there, hey, do I want to be doing that? I sometimes look at myself like a Sir Richard Branson, like, wow, I'm a bit like him. I've had dyslexia, and he started these corporations very young. He started these companies. I want to be like that. But when you really delve in and have a look at what he does, he has 400 plates spinning at one time. He's got 300, legal issues happening, and he deals with them just, hey, that's not me. So that's not the life that I want to be leading.
Mm.
So you've really got to just look at it's a thief of opportunity comparison.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their journey, everybody's got their issues. Stick to your own, really look at what you want and you want to achieve for your own self.
Yeah. And I love what you just said about Richard Branson because I think winners in business and in life, they don't compare, but they do copy. You know, so they look at other people and they don't compare. Like I can't be, but I can certainly copy and act on some of those characteristics and traits that that person's got, and then you put it into action. Because if you stand there and go, "Poor me," and start doing all the comparisons, like you said, it's going to rob you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, some of those people, it's great to actually read their books, read their book, how they did things, so that you can have a look at, copying some of the things and understanding how their view of the world is a little bit different, and how you can be looking at the world in a different way.
Yeah, and I think the only measure of comparison, and I talk about this, outside of what we're doing here together, only against myself. If you compare yourself against yourself to improve, to get better, I think that really is the only area of comparison that you should have. Because, like you said, you can't walk in someone else's moccasins because you don't know what's going on in their lives, but you can walk in your own. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So run your race, not theirs. Celebrate your wins, not, you can admire their wins, but celebrate yours. Appreciate what's going on, but don't waste time comparing. Spend more time, I think, in creation mode than in comparing mode, because, like you said at the start, a minute you spend on comparison is a waste of time where you could be in action. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, let's go into complaining then. Complaining is an interesting one. Complaining is like, I don't want to fix it. It's their fault. Why is it always happening to me? That's another horrible C in life and a horrible C in business.
Yeah, it reminds me of Jim Rohan's story about, complain for 5 minutes, is just wasted five. And he talks about from the Bible, the children of Israel as they wanted to escape from Egypt, and God gave them all these unbelievable gifts, and to get them out of and of course he parted the sea, did all these things for them, but they get to they're on their way to the promised land, but on day one they complained about the weather, they complained about the leadership, they complained about the food, they complained. And as Jim said, hey, even God got sick and tired, said that's it, trip cancelled, and they left them out there for 40 years.
Yeah, and complaining really, I suppose, when we get a little bit esoteric, Kim, really it just reinforces the problem. It doesn't focus on the solution to get things done. Like your whole energy is spent on what's going wrong. I'm having a slow month, or they're a difficult customer, or I can't, recruit anyone, or I can't find anything. So you're always um, in a negative framework rather than a solution orientated mindset. So complaining really is a major downer on your energy as well. It keeps you being stuck.
Yeah, it's one of those things that when you start to think about it, you need to go, well, hang on, what am I got to learn out of this? How can this? Where can I? What is this trying to teach me? Where should I refocus? Maybe this is the time that I need to pivot. What should I be focusing on and looking for the positive? No point. It's like when our people come to us sometimes and they have a complaint, and well, don't come to me with a complaint unless you've got a answer or you've got a solution to it. If you've got a solution, so you then become solution orientated. And we need to actually teach some of our people that, because as soon as they come to, oh, this is not working, or this is, well, what do you want to do? I mean, what's your solution? So we need to be getting our people to become solution orientated rather than looking at the negatives.
Yeah, so true. And the final C is this criticism. That's a real silent killer. I mean, that if you start criticizing anyone or anything, I mean, you're going to lose trust with people, trust in your community, trust in your, in leadership, or because people remember when they get when you criticize them. There's no doubt about it. And I think for the vast majority of people, particularly in a community and an organization, I think people do fear criticism. They feel like they're going to get criticized for having a go, and that holds them back. And a good leader will recognize them, hey, no problem. And that's why there's nothing ever bad happening. It's just learnings, like you said. So no point in criticizing anyone about anything.
Yeah, and it's a learning curve for people. Not everybody's. Hey, I'm not perfect. And I've been doing some things for 30, 35 years, but I'm still not perfect at it. So none of us are really perfect at it. So we just got to be careful with that criticism. That We need to be uplifting rather than trying to tear down somebody. And I noticed it sometimes. Especially in our industry, when we go on stage. Sometimes when we're doing a talk, and everybody at the end of the talk in our community, they come, "Wow, that was fantastic! That was really great! You were fantastic! You were fantastic!" And you go, "Oh, yeah, it was fantastic." And then you watch them do it to somebody else who wasn't that fantastic, and they all do the same thing. You go, "Oh my God, are they really doing the same for me?" So, but you need to be, building people up,
Yeah.
not tearing them down. And
And,
sometimes, we should be going, "Hey, listen, you know, you did fantastic there. But maybe if you just tweak this, it could be a little bit better. But I was really proud of you. What you did."
yeah. And I think it's like exactly what you said. You've got to give feedback privately, but praise publicly. So one-on-one, you might be sitting down and say, I noticed this, I noticed, and it's constructive
Yeah,
because people are out there trying their best, doing you know their level best to be the best. So lead with encouragement, praise publicly, give feedback privately rather than just getting that word criticizing. And sometimes we see things, Kim, and you just got to bite your tongue. You just got to go, because one of the other things about criticizing is even if you don't say it, but you show it, with the roll of the eyes or the lift of the eyebrows or, the turning off of the Zoom. Oh my God, I can't watch this. People take that on personally as well.
yeah, and that reminds me too. You got to we sometimes got to watch our. I think they call it resting bitch face or whatever it is. Sometimes you got to, especially on Zoom and any of those sort of areas, or if you're sitting at the front of a room taking notes, you just got to watch what you're showing. And I've been pulled up at different times because people on Zoom go, "But you're frowning." Well, no, that frown wasn't meant to that. Is because I was just couldn't see properly, like the screen. But that can show other things to other people. So make sure that you're always smiling, not just because if I just put my, it looks like I'm not happy.
Yeah.
So smile. Make sure that you're giving good positive outcomes to people while they're doing their best, and and people will give the same back to you then.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. I think as leaders, as we all are, and as people are trying to develop themselves as leaders, if you stand on a moral ground of a high performance culture, everything else will fall into place. If it's not necessary to say it, it's necessary not to say it. Smile at everything. If someone's told a joke and you've heard it 1,000 times, still smile. I know when Kim does one of his presentations and he goes, if this lady, and he puts his hands in, I always smile and go, yes, like I've heard it the very first time, because maybe there's someone around who hasn't heard it for the first time, but they see your reaction. Oh, look, Wayne reacted to that. Oh, Kim reacted to that. If Kim thought it was a good idea and he's so successful, then I think it should be a good idea as well. It's so important, yeah?
Yeah, it really comes back to what you shared the other night on our U Factor calls, which was about sharing. And Jim Rohn said, "No telling what your story can do. The person's in the darkness, but your story can open up the light. Your words can go, 'Hey, I came here in the beginning and my mind was closed. And when I heard your story, I saw the light.'" And, it's one of the things that I always remember when I'm talking to people. I'm not talking to the people that are already involved. I'm talking to the brand new people. I'm trying to, give my words because words have got power. My words are so that I can maybe uplift, open people's minds, and help them make their own decisions.
Yeah, beautifully said. I mean, the three C's that we've got here, guys, this is not unique to Kim or myself. Never criticize, condemn, or complain was written in stone in many books. made famous by Napoleon Hill and Think and Grow Rich, or How to Win Friends and Influence People, has never criticized, never condemned someone or never complain about anything. And I think if we all get a little bit sharper and remove those traits from our own personal characteristics that we have and display, never knowing how much we can get better as leaders as well. So comparison, complaining, criticism, bad for business, but bad to be around as well. You don't like to be around those people.
Yeah. So, if you enjoyed today, and you want to maybe, send this this recording out to one of your friends that maybe is having some problems in these areas that we talked about, please do that, and click on the subscribe button. And if you're really interested in having a private conversation, but with both Wayne and I, reach out to us. No telling you, if we got the right time with each other, we can connect.
And I think as a little exercise, Kim, if anyone knows what the real catch cry is for that Lego movie, everything is wonderful.
Everything is wonderful. Everything is awesome. Oh, everything is awesome.
He's
Everything's
got
awesome. Two Lego movies on Saturday night with my grandkids. Unbelievable.
Fantastic. And there's a great message there. Thanks, Kim. Speak to you soon, my friend.
Thank you.